Hi, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be making cookies using the ancient grain Einkorn. Alright, so if you're new to our channel, you might not know us. I'm Brenda Waardenburg and my husband behind the camera is Don Waardenburg, and we own Waardenburg Family Farm. And we're glad you joined us. If you have been with us for a while, you know that I like to cook and bake and try new things. So we are just now getting into milling our own flour, and it's a learning experience. We chose to buy the Wonder Mill, and I'm very happy with it. You'll be able to see it working, and it's very fast and efficient, and I think it gives us a good product. So the recipes I'm making today are going to be Einkorn chocolate chip cookies and a spiced molasses cookie. That's one of my favorites. So we're going to have a lot of cookies by the end of the day. I'm looking forward to that.
Can I ask you a question before we get started?
Okay.
When you say ancient grains, like how long have they been stored in your cupboard?
You're funny. Why don't you tell them about ancient grains?
That was a perfect comeback. I guess I had that coming. All I'm going to say is that ancient grains are basically unchanged for, what, thousands of years?
Thousands of years. It's exactly
where,
what it's been.
like the corn and the wheat that we have now have been selectively, hybrid and bred into a superfood that we have now. Whether it's better for you or not, I don't know. But we just like the whole wheat version, whether it's an ancient wheat or a modern wheat.
Yeah, I like knowing that I'm getting the whole part of the grain, the germ, the outside, the bran, and all the stuff that we usually get, the middle stuff. I forget what that's called.
And we do like the Einkorn. You made, we have noodles with them.
I've actually been using Einkorn pasta, linguine and spaghetti, and it's really good. I mean, it's a little bit different texture, but it's not that different. Actually, my 14-year-old granddaughter had it. She gave it a thumbs up. My daughter, who can be kind of picky, gave it a thumbs up, and her two daughters also liked it. So it's passed the kid test.
Well, I'm really ready to try these cookies, so.
Now you'll watch. We'll see if we catch him. Anytime I make cookie, he usually eats the dough. Sneaks dough. All the grandkids know to watch for Pop-Pop sneaking dough. But they're not here today, so he's probably going to get a bunch. So the very first thing I have to do is grind some wheat. And the one thing this does do, the Wonder Mill, it does make it a little bit warm when it's grinding. I'm not sure what the process is, so you want to make it, grind it, and let it cool down a little bit. It's not like hot, it's just slightly warm. And it's very noisy. So the process—
They're all noisy, I think.
That's true, probably are. The process is you turn it on, and then you throw the grain in. And I'm going to be putting 2 cups of grain in. That's probably a little more than I need, but I want to have plenty. So I'll turn it on. It's going to be very loud.
It's louder when it's first on, and then once you put the grain in, it's not that loud.
Where's the button there?
There you go.
Sounds like a jet engine slowing down. So isn't this cool?
It sounds like when you hear me vacuuming all the time.
He does vacuum actually fairly often. Amazing. He's a good man. And you have—
All right, let's take a look here.
beautiful
Now,
Einkorn
did you have that
flour.
set for like super fine?
I do have it set for the— I think I do. Yeah, for the pastry. You can have it a coarse grain, one for bread and one for pastry. For cookies, I usually use the pastry. You want it really finely ground. It just seems better that way.
So that was less than 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, it's very fast. And it's just slightly warm. It's not hot. So we're gonna let that cool off while we mix some of the other stuff together. Oh, if you notice when I started, I did kind of hold it. And that's one thing we learned by watching a bunch of videos before we bought it. It can kind of jump when it first starts. So I just kind of hold it right when I start it. And then it's completely fine. It's not like shaking all over the counter or anything.
And we're not sponsored by them or anything.
No. We're not sponsored by them.
We're not sponsored by anybody.
And I think, we watch so many— yeah, we're not. We watched so many videos before we bought one, and like everyone has good points, bad points, and we just ended up feeling best about this one. So
No
I
regrets.
like it. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, no regrets.
All right, so let's get making the cookie. The first ingredient is 8 tablespoons or 1 stick of unsalted butter and 3/4 cup of brown sugar. I have to say, I love these things for storing food, but you can't get very big measuring cups in them. So I only can fit a 1/2 cup in, so I need 3/4, so 1/2 cup, that would be 1.5 of those. And if you've watched me at all, you know I don't measure things real accurately. That's close. And then it calls for a 1/2 teaspoon salt. And I don't always use my teaspoon, but today I will. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. You get that all mixed up first. This recipe is a little bit different in a few ways. Get this all mixed together, which will take a while. Instead of using the mixer, I'm doing it with my hand, which I usually do it this way with the grandkids. They think it's cool.
While you're stirring there, I can't help but notice the grandma's molasses. If you look at the picture on the front, that looks like you.
You're just so funny. All right, so I have that stuff all creamed together. Now I add 1 egg and a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And of course, it's an egg from my girls.
It's a special egg.
I love my chickens. And they give us such good eggs.
Ah.
And a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla.
Let's see what this looks like here.
This isn't a real big recipe. It doesn't make a lot. So if you want a lot of cookies, you have to double everything. Today we'll go for small. And get that all creamed together.
I guess every good grandma's got artwork on the fridge.
Oh, definitely. Without a doubt. I always have a new display of artwork. Now this is where this recipe varies from the cookies I made with regular old white flour. They actually have you put the chocolate chips in at this point. Usually that's the very last ingredient. But with this, they go in now. It calls for a 1/2 cup. I'm going to put in a very generous 1/2 cup.
Nice, thank you.
My grandkids also know when I make cookies, we always put extra chocolate chips in. Of course, we're always eating chocolate chips too. Probably one of my favorite things to do with the grandkids, make cookies. Then we get to eat them. Okay, and at this point, this is when you add the flour. And it's 2.5 cups of flour.
No, I forget which one are you making? Oh, this is
Chocolate chip.
That's right.
I'm making this one first because it has to go into the fridge for a while and sit.
When you
So-
think about it, the chocolate chips should have been a clue to me.
Yeah, really. It sits in the fridge for about an hour or two. So it can be in the fridge while I'm making the spice ones, and then we'll be ready to bake this.
So what'd you put in that in a different bowl?
Well, the biggest reason is because my refrigerator doesn't have room for this bowl. So it's a small amount of cookie dough. I'll just stick it in. It won't take up much space.
Okie doke. I guess I need to wash the big bowl.
If you want to, that would be great. All right, so the chocolate chip cookies are in the fridge, getting cold. And now we're on to they're actually called healthier whole grain molasses cookies. Now, if you're serving them to somebody like your grandkids, you might want to leave off the healthier whole grain and just call them molasses cookies. But they're really good. Now, they have an interesting ingredient. They don't use butter. Unlike most cookies, they don't use butter, they use olive oil. Now, and I use the really light, extra light olive oil. You don't taste the olive oil. But it's kind of an interesting swing for cookies. And it's 2/3 of a cup. I like it when things are a little bit unusual.
So you're preheating the oven?
Yep, it's preheated to 350. Then I need 1 cup of sugar, and I'm using cane sugar. You can actually use probably a cup of any dry sweetener. And again, my cup doesn't fit in, so I have to use 1/2 cups, so 2 of those. The cane sugar, and then a 1/4 cup of molasses. And I use the molasses with the lady that looks like me.
Yeah.
It's actually called Grandma's molasses, so
It is.
That
and you're a
fits.
grandma.
I'm a grandma.
You know, when I was a young person, I used to look at those with white hair, grandma, haha, whatever. You know, I kind of resisted you letting your hair go to white, but that was a mistake.
Kind of resisted?
Yeah, I did.
He really did not want me to go gray.
Nah.
So I colored my hair up until, what, 5 years ago? 6 years
Yeah.
ago?
Uh-huh. And that was a mistake on my part because,
I've been silver for a long time.
yeah, and you're beautiful as silver.
I actually went through a period before I went all white. I had just the front part white. I let it go and didn't color just the front.
The Cruella de Vil.
Yeah, I had a Cruella de Vil thing going on. And people thought that's the part I dyed. They're like, oh, that's cool, you dyed the front of your hair white. Like, no, that's the one part that's not dyed. So, just interesting. Okay, so I've got the olive oil, the molasses, the sugar, need an egg. And again, our girls provide this.
And you said extra large egg?
It said large egg, and this was one of my girls' larger eggs. It's funny how they all lay different size eggs. We get this all creamed together, and then we add the dry ingredients.
All right, let's see what we got. Ooh, that's a beautiful color.
At this point, it's just a lot of sugar. Sugar and oil.
I was shocked how good, you know.
Yeah, because you're not.
This one other time.
Yeah, you're not really a big molasses
The
cookie
last
guy,
time
but you
you
liked
made
it.
it. Yeah.
And the grandkids all liked it. I
Wow.
didn't. And Anna, my daughter who doesn't like a whole lot of things, she liked this. So, comes highly recommended.
Yeah.
Now, this one calls for 2 cups of einkorn flour. Now, where's my measuring cup? I lost my whole cup. Got it. We got 1 and 2. So 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Oh, I need to fill my baking soda thing soon. One and a half teaspoons of ground cinnamon. Here's where the fun spices come in. Now this is a half teaspoon measure, so I'll have to put 3 of these in. So that's the cinnamon. And then 1 teaspoon of ginger. This is a cookie that smells good while you're making it. All the spices. And again, it's a half teaspoon, so I have to put 2 of them in there. And then it is a half teaspoon of cloves.
Wait a minute. What size? Is that a quarter of a?
It's a half a teaspoon. And I needed to put a whole teaspoon in, so I needed 2
Oh,
of them.
okay. Okay.
I think I did my math right. So it's a half a teaspoon of nutmeg and a half a teaspoon of cloves. Each one of these smells so good. Okay. And a half a teaspoon of salt. Close. And get that mixed up.
So is that it then? The total?
Got a little carried away there. That's the ingredients. Get it all mixed up, and then I'll show you what to do next. All right, I have this all mixed up. And for this cookie, actually roll it in balls and roll it in cane sugar. It just looks a little bit too sticky for me, so I'm gonna even put this one in the fridge for just a little bit, get it hardened up, so I can roll the balls without being a total sticky mess. So our fridge is gonna be full of cookie dough. All right, they were in the fridge for about 15 minutes, and they're firm enough I can make nice little balls without making a total mess. So you just roll them into a ball, and then roll them in cane sugar,
Let's see what they look like.
and put them on the tray.
Nice.
They smell really good.
So do they flatten out when you cook them, or do you have to smush them?
I'm gonna actually smush them a little bit, but they do flatten out. All right. Now, I might not push these down. They look like they might spread out enough and flatten out. So I'm gonna see what the first batch does. Cookies, you never know what's going to happen until the first batch. Then you see exactly how good they're going to be. And they go in the oven at 350 for 8 to 10 minutes. I think like most cookies bake for 8 to 10 minutes, it seems like. All right. Baked cookies. We'll check them after 8 minutes. See how they're doing. All right, they should be a little bit crackly on top and a little bit dark around the edges, and they are definitely cracky on top. So they're coming out, and the next batch gonna go in. It was actually 10 minutes. Well, the molasses are done baking. I got the chocolate chip ready. Now, it's a very thick dough, so I'm actually going to roll it and smash it a little bit so it spreads out enough. If you like a really thick, chewy cookie, you could just put it on with teaspoons. But I like it, I don't know, a little bit flatter. I was experimenting. Sometimes I take other cookies, get a glass sticky, put it in sugar, and then tap the cookie and you get a little sugar on top.
So in your experience, the Einkorn, does it handle differently when you do chocolate chip?
Yes, it does. It does seem to well, it handles differently in every way.
Okay.
That's why right now I'm sticking with Einkorn recipes. But there's a ton of things on Pinterest and Google for, what's it called? Converting regular recipes into recipes with whole grains. Not just Einkorn, but any whole grain, freshly ground flour. It's different, especially in bread, which I'm still trying to master that one. I haven't got that one down yet. Not that I have cookies down yet either, but cookies are fairly consistent, turning out good. The bread doesn't always turn out the way I want.
That looks thicker.
Yeah, it's a thicker.
Chalkier.
It is. It's a thicker dough. Well, being in the fridge makes it more firm.
Oh, okay.
They'll be cute little
How
cookies.
do you prefer your chocolate chips? Some people like them thick and chewy. Some like them thin and crispy.
Should we tell them how we really like it?
Yeah, well, how do you like it?
I like them frozen.
Oh, yeah, well, that's no question.
Seems like chocolate chip cookies, they just taste so much better if you freeze them. Then you get out and you're eating a frozen cookie. It's really good, a frozen cookie dipped in hot coffee.
No,
Yes.
straight up frozen. They are, I mean, folks, if you haven't tried it,
I haven't tried a frozen chocolate chip cookie.
yeah, it's a level up.
How do we start that? Was it we were freezing them for Christmas, trying to keep them fresh till
And
Christmas?
we kept sneaking in the freezer and eating them.
I don't know how many made it to Christmas.
Frozen Rocky Road are good too.
See, I'm not as much of a Rocky Road fan. I'm just straight up chocolate chips.
All right.
All right, these go in. I'm going to do them for 11 minutes. We'll see how they do. All right, now the chocolate chip cookies, you have to leave them on the tray for 5 minutes after you take them out of the oven. So these have been 5 minutes. Now I'm going to put them in the cooling racks. I'll be anxious to try these babies.
Well, the day got away from us, didn't it?
Yeah, after we finished the cookies, we got kind of busy, so we're just now getting around to really tasting them.
Yeah, so we're just coming out of 3 days with 4 inches of rain, which we really needed, but it brought a front in that's a little colder. Now we have a cold week facing us.
Yeah, and I have a bunch of tomatoes in the high tunnel.
Yeah.
So this is the time of the year where I have to be prepared to go out and cover it with some fleece. And if it gets too cold, I have to get his big, was it a diesel, propane, or what is it, is it a diesel
We
burner?
have a propane one and a diesel.
Okay, whatever. I can
heater.
get some super duper heaters out there and run
Yeah.
fans and keep it warm enough in there. But for tonight, we just had to go out and put fleece over everything.
Yeah. So you have what, like 80 or 100
90
90
tomatoes right now, yeah. I know.
That's a big investment.
Yeah.
And peppers?
Just a few peppers. The one kind I planted, the cherry peppers, I planted somehow way more than I need. So I thought, well, I'll risk 6 of them if they don't live. I have like another 24 to put in.
Okay. So now we're back inside and I can't wait to try these cookies.
Chocolate chip first.
Sure.
Smells good.
Very good.
That is good. You would never know that's not just plain white flour. It tastes the same.
Only one thing would make this better.
Frozen.
Frozen.
We really do like our chocolate chip cookies frozen.
Yeah, seriously, you have to try it. And I'd love to see your comments after you freeze it and have your kids and your family try it.
Just nobody break your teeth or anything.
No.
But it really is good.
Now,
so I'm sure.
Not all cookies are better frozen.
No, but chocolate chips.
Something with the chocolate in it.
I don't know. Something about that works. So I'm sure as soon as we're done with this, we'll put the rest in the freezer for the duration. I give them a thumbs up.
Yeah, absolutely. Still my favorite overall cookie.
But these are pretty good.
Okay, can't try it first though.
Oh, we have to cleanse our palate. Is that what official cookie tasters do? Cleanse their palates?
I don't know, but if I was official, that's what I would do.
Okay, on to the spicy molasses.
Okay.
Oh, and they really smell good.
They do. They smell better than the chocolate chip.
Well, there's all those spices in there.
Okay.
Okay. Nice and soft and chewy. These would not be good frozen.
No.
Well, they might be.
To me, it tastes
them better
like
this.
a comfort food. For some reason, it's just warm and soft and...
All those spices are like fall, winter kind of spices, and it's just soft and really good.
Excellent. And, you know, generally, I am not a fan of spice cookies or sugar cookies or other... I'm kind of spoiled on anything with chocolate in it.
But I'm getting him to like all kinds of things these days.
Uh-huh.
Okay. 2 thumbs up.
Definitely.
Well, I would recommend trying them.
Yeah.
And if you... Go ahead.
Don't forget about the frozen.
Well, if you don't have a grinder, you don't have to grind your own Einkorn flour. You can actually purchase Einkorn flour. I know online, different places, so.
Yeah.
But give it a try. It's much better for you, and it tastes delicious.
My only problem is I'm going to eat too many of them.
That's not too bad. Well, thanks for joining us on our cookie adventure, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.